What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I hope you like this video. This is going to be season 1, episode 2 of Delilah over on OWN. And so we start this episode off. Delilah is talking to her investigator. She sent him out to go see what was going on over at Shay's house because remember, Shay was the one that set up this meeting. He's the engineer from the Osborne company. Oh, excuse me, sorry. Well, we find out that he gets to the house and he said, listen, I don't know what's going on. I didn't see no man in a Range Rover. But what I did see is an ambulance out in front of the house and Shay is dead. And maybe it's more to this story than what you think. And she was like, what? And so she's like, listen, we might need to dig deeper. And he's telling her, listen, you may want to take heed to this and be a little cautious. And she was like, what you trying to say? He was like, I'm just saying. Now he's still at the rehab. She's still at the rehab place with her brother. And so she goes back in and she has to tell Dion, listen, you know, we got to go on back to the house. You're going to stay with me a little bit longer. And Dion asks his dad, he whispers it, and he asks his dad, does mommy hate me? And his dad tells him no, you know. And the brother tells Delilah, listen, she's doing the best she can. She's trying. And so she, you know, when it's time for them to leave, he says, you know, I'm sorry that you have to take me back home. And she was like, what are you talking about? She said, you know, I need you. You know, you're my protection. And, you know, she does a really good job of trying to make him feel better. She ends up saying that she's going to take him, you know, she takes him to McDonald's to get some food and everything like that. And of course, when he comes back in the house, he's sad and he's upset. And her kids are like, what happened? Now, her son ain't here for it. Because remember, he was ready for Dion to be on his way home. He ain't here for it. And she bought them some, you know, some food. And we see the kids doing what kids do. They arguing over the fries and all of that. And she automatically assumes that he's the one not sharing. And it's really her sister. His sister. And he was like, why am I always the bad guy? Like, everybody makes me out to be the bad guy. And so we sort of see this set up, you know, for later on in the episode. He ends up calling his dad and asking his dad if he can come and live with them. Well, we see that the dad is with, he got himself a little girlfriend, honey. And she wants to meet the kids. Like, she wants to be, you know, stepmommy and all of that. And he was like, yeah, hold up. Pump your brakes. But he says, listen, I got to talk to your mom because I need to find out what's going on. And he's telling her about Dion living with them and things like that. And he got the nerve to actually end up going to call her and question her about it. Sir, you're not even paying your $200 a month child support. I know you're not trying to dictate what's going on up in her house. I don't like him. So she ends up calling Tamra and telling Tamra that she about to take the case. And Tamra was like, listen, I thought we had this conversation. I thought that we had come to an agreement. I thought you weren't going to take this case. And she said, listen, Shaden ended up dead. Clearly they're trying to cover something up. Clearly it's something going on over there. And I want to get to the bottom of it. And she was like, listen, you know this is going to get ugly. Like, if we do this, this is going to get ugly. And she was like, listen, and she basically made a smart comment about all you care about is making partner. Which, of course, you know, Tamara got in her feelings about, which I would have too. I understand. And she tries to apologize, but of course, you know, that that deal is done. You know, that horse is out the barn at this point. The next day we see Tamara talking to her boyfriend, the deputy mayor, and he's telling her, he's like, listen, that company is setting you up for you to go head to head with your best friend. They thought that the two of y'all was going to sit down and kumbaya and make a good deal, and that was going to be that. And she was like, yeah, but because she has to meet with the client that day, so she's really nervous about meeting with the client. And she was like, yeah, but I can't believe she's being so, you know, bullheaded. And after what she said to me, like, it was just so disrespectful. And he was like, well, what did she say? And she was like, nah, I ain't even trying to get into it. And he was like, listen, all I'm saying is, why don't y'all sit down and see if y'all can come to some sort of, you know, happy medium. And if not, y'all just gonna have to keep y'all friendship separate from what goes on in the court. Now, you know that That's going to be a hard pill to swallow, right? Now, in the meantime and in between time, hold on, let me get to my notes. Listen, I was reading y'all comments. I was reading what y'all was saying down in the comments. And listen, we feel the same way. I don't trust that Barnes girl. I don't trust her. I don't trust her at all. But because of this new case, honey, she asked her assistant, she said, listen, you think you can work with her? Demetria Barnes. And her assistant was like, yeah, I guess. She was like, okay, well, give her a call back, honey. We're going to have to go on and hire her because, listen, I don't have the bandwidth for this. I don't have the bandwidth for this, so we're going to have to hire her. And, you know, but I don't trust her either, y'all. Something about her. Something about her. So she ends up calling and offers her the job. And they, you know, she negotiates a good deal. She said, listen, this is what I can afford to pay you. These are the benefits I can afford to give you. She was like, well, can I at least get a 401k? She was like, girl, I don't know about that. She said, well, you don't have to contribute to the 401k. Can I just have one? And I'll put my money in. She was like, okay, do what you got to do. Okay. But this is what I can afford to pay you. And this is what you go get. So Miss Barnes is on the team. So then she has Leah come back in so she can sign the agreement. Now, Leah is hesitant. No, let me rewind. When Jill Marie Jones, Tamara, goes in for her meeting, come to find out, Leah did have an affair with the CEO. She tried to lie and say it wasn't nothing going on between the two of them, that she went to his house because he fired her, and that's why she caused the scene and all of that. But come to find out, the CEO was like, nah, we slept, he's like, you know, a few drunken nights, you know, us sleeping together, I wouldn't necessarily call it an affair, but it did happen more than once. And she's just, you know, upset that I ended it and wouldn't do it again. Y'all know that. Y'all know that too. And that's what they always try to come back around and say. Oh, she's just upset that I wouldn't do it again. Okay. And so she confronts her about it when she comes in to sign the paperwork. She was like, girl, look, I need you to be honest with me. Like, at the end of the day, we keep doing this, and I need you to tell me what's going on. And she was like, of course, she tried to play it off like it wasn't no big deal. And she said, listen, I'm going to take your... Matter of fact, I might be out of order, y'all. Hold on. I'm sorry. I might be out of order. I might be... The conversation with her taking the case might have been before. See what happens when you watch all of it at one time and then you got to figure out... Child. Anyway. So, she was like, Leah was hesitant about signing the paperwork. She said, I don't want to end up like Shay. Like, Shay done ended up dead. I ain't trying to end up like Shay and be dead. And she was like, you don't have to worry about that. Let me handle that. I just need you to sign the paperwork so that I can represent you and we can move forward. Like, that is what I need you to do. Tamara ends up inviting her over. She ends up inviting her over to her house, and she's having like a little get together, but she made it seem like it was just gonna be the two of them. But when she gets there, it is like a whole little get together that they're having, and she's actually flirting. I mean, she's actually trying to introduce Tamara is trying to introduce Delilah to one of her boyfriend's friends, you know, trying to hook that whole thing up and turn it into something. So yeah, no, I apologize. The conversation, her getting Leah to sign on to do the case, was before she got the information about Leah lying to her about having an affair. Okay, I'm sorry. Let me get it back together, y'all. Let me get it back in order. Now, while all of this is going on, honey, her daughter's down to the school, and the woman whose violin she bought wants to meet her, and so she ends up going down after work, after school, going down to the violin shop. And the woman is a black woman, which I was loving the fact that it was a black woman. She was like, oh my gosh, you are so talented. I mean, they had like a whole moment. And she wants to give her private lessons. So when her daughter comes home that night, her daughter is like, you know, I think her name is Miss Catherine, and she wants to give me private lessons. And of course, Delilah, being one of those people that come from the school of ain't nothing free, and why would she be doing something for nothing? And she was like, well, I mean, why does everything have to be, why you have to be suspect about everything? She was like, and then she got real snippy with her. Well, can I take the lessons or not? See, my answer would have been, hell no. Okay. You get snippy with me to know, hell no. She said, well, can I at least meet this woman first? Like, before we start making these decisions, can I at least meet the woman first? So she gonna meet the woman, child. She gonna meet the woman. Now, Delilah's investigator shows up and lets her know that the Charlotte Police Department has sealed the murder investigation or the report on Shay's death, because of course they made it look like it was a suicide, but they have their suspicions that this wasn't a suicide because it's a little too convenient for it to be a suicide. And of course now that makes it even more suspicious that it ain't really no suicide, right? Now, Dion had left his hat down to the rehab center with where her brother was staying. So she takes Dion by there after work to go pick his hat up. And we meet, I'm assuming, her daddy, okay? And of course Delilah is looking at her brother like, why you ain't tell me he was gonna be here? And he was like, because I ain't want to see that look you showing me right now. He said, listen, you got problems with him, but I don't. He's willing to help. He's willing to be there in my corner, and I need all the support I can get. And we can also tell that Dion knows him because Dion calls him Pops, and you could tell that they have met before. So, Dion and his dad, they go on patrol, honey. They're going on patrol, and they leave the two of them there together. And the guy has a police uniform on, and so, you know, they have small talk, but from the small talk, you can gather that the two of them don't have much of a relationship. Now, what I surmise from the conversation is that this her daddy, and he cheated on the mama and had an affair with somebody named Miss Francis, and she ain't really been rocking with her dad ever since. That's what I surmise from that conversation. But basically, you know, she was like, oh, you know, well, I see you come around some places, and he was like, I come where I'm wanted. And she was like, well, how's Miss Francis? You know, you could tell the way she threw it out there like it was a dig. And he was like, she fine. Like, and what? You know? So then she starts asking him about the police report. And he says, well, the police report, he said, I can't get into that. He said, and I can't get you a copy of it either. She was like, I wouldn't ask you to get me a copy of it. I just want to know why it was sealed. Like, what reasons was it sealed? And he was like, listen, I ain't getting into all of that. I can't help you. So again, you get the feeling that it's more to this story than what we seeing here. Oh Lord, what else? I'm out of order because, well, I'm out of order, child. Let's just say I'm out of order. So she goes to follow up with Dion's mama to find out why she ain't ready to come and take her son. She want to know why you're not ready to come and take your son. Because I understand why my brother not ready. Because my brother is dealing with a situation with his legs and he is still in rehab. But it ain't nothing wrong with you. And I mean, like, why you ain't coming to take your child? Like, child, she go by the woman's house and she got the nerve to have an attitude. Like, ma'am, I am taking care of your child. Why do you have an attitude with me? And then, you know, she's like, I don't understand why you can't come and get him. Are you going to be ready to take him when my brother comes home? You know, my brother gets out of the hospital in however many weeks. Like, are you going to be ready for that too? Or are you going to abandon both of them? And then some big old buff dude, you could tell there was a man there by the way she was just acting. But this big old buff dude come from around the corner talking about some, can I help you? And she told me something, well, who are you? He was like, I forgot his name. I'm so-and-so. Your brother knows who I am. I'm a friend of theirs. She was like, you a friend of theirs? Yeah, ask your brother about me. So listen. He know the brother, but I bet you they ain't friends. What? I said, that's a whole situation going on right there. Now, the CEO of the Osborne Corporation, I forgot this part, child. He authorized Tamara to make a settlement of up to $2 million. Now, let's be clear. Leia only wants some money. Like, she could care less about getting to the bottom of this. She could care less about this being about truth and justice. She want to know how much money she gonna get from Osborne. And I'm sure that if Tamara go to her with a $2 million offer on the table, she'll be more than happy to take it. But, child, we know ain't gonna happen. So yeah, so Tamara knows that there's got to be more to the story too. So that's when Tamara calls her friend and gives her another chance. She was like, listen, I'm giving you another opportunity to settle this because I just got, and that's when she finds out about the information about Leah actually having an affair with the CEO. And she's trying to tell her, listen, your client done lied to you. Okay, it's more to this story than what your client is telling you. And your client, this is not about no espionage. This is about your client having an affair with her boss and the boss cutting it off and firing her. So yeah, is there a little bit of sexual harassment in here, or wrongful termination? Sure, maybe. And I'm willing to make it go away. I'm authorized. Listen, let's make a settlement. Let's sit down and let's talk about it. And that's how she gets her to come over to her house, because they thinking that they're gonna have this conversation about a settlement agreement or whatever. But then, like I said, once they get there, honey, she trying to hook her up with the best friend who's sitting there making pizza. He is a little cutie now. Sitting there making a little bit of pizza, and it really ends up making a bad situation worse. Like, they really end up getting it to it worse than where they were to begin with, honestly. This is getting ugly. I don't see this going nowhere pretty for either one of them. You know what I'm saying? Now, while she arguing with Tamara, she get a phone call from Shay's wife. She says, listen, I need you to come over here. Now, I don't know why she's still trusting phones. I hope she got a burner, because they didn't already said they tapping the phones and they following them. But anyway, she calls Tamara to come over. She said, listen, I got something I need to show you. I don't want to talk about it over the phone. I just need you to get over here. So she goes, I mean, not Tamara, Delilah. So Delilah goes over there, and baby, her husband has signed an NDA, which we had figured out, and she said the reason why she didn't say anything because she didn't want to have to give the money back. She said, but listen, my husband kept all of this. And I know they lied about him committing suicide because whatever the prescription was, it wasn't enough pills left in that prescription bottle to kill nobody, much less kill a grown-ass man. So she was like, I know they lied. My husband didn't kill himself. I know they killed him, and this is why. And she basically turned over all of he had a whole garage full of stuff. He had brought home all sorts of documents and had all sorts of paperwork from the project that was in question. And she said, my husband suspected, that there was something wrong with the equipment, and that's why he was speaking up. And here's all of his, this is all of his paperwork. Now, I don't know if she packed all that stuff up that night and took it home. I don't know if she trusted it to stay there until she could get her investigated, because it was a lot of documents. It was a lot of stuff. I don't know if she trusted it to be there until they could come back and get it and, whatever. But I wouldn't have let it out my sight. If I had to sleep in that damn garage overnight, I would have slept there. So I don't know, but suffice to say that there's a lot of information there for them to go through. I know I take that back. I know she took a couple of boxes because she did take them to her office the next day. Now, whether she got all of it, I don't know, because it seemed like it was a lot of stuff in that garage, honey. A lot of stuff in that garage. Last but not least, at least I believe this is last but not least, her husband or ex-husband called her and told her, listen, our son called and he doesn't want to live there anymore. He wants to live with me because, Dion is in the room. And I remember I told y'all about that. How dare he question it? Well, that's when we also find out that, honey, he cheated on her multiple times while they were married. So whoever this thing he is with now might be one of the women he cheated on her with. And it was even his students, because he's a professor. So even some of his students he slept with, he dirty. He is dirty. And she was not happy about the fact that he got up in the middle of the night to have this argument with his ex-wife, honey. Which I don't think most women would be happy about that. I don't think most women. But anyway, that was pretty much episode 2. I think I got everything. If not, we'll get caught up with episode 3, honey. Let me know what y'all think. Drop it in the comments. Peace.